This story is valid to us today because we are in that same boat. Each one is trying in his own way to make things keep it whole, keep it growing, nurturing the planet, ourselves, our bodies, our lives. They're all interconnected. So this little story, I will bring you back and introduce you to two wonderful women, Amrita Naidu and Dhara. I'm going to just give you a little introduction for both. Dhara is an alumnus of the School of Interior Design, CEPT, Ahmedabad. She completed her post-graduation in three-dimensional design from the Kent Institute of Art and Design, Rochester, UK. She started Studio Alternatives in 2010. Her special interests include furniture design, exhibition design, design education, and alternate use of material in design. She's going to talk to us a lot about that. Very interesting what she does with broken, thrown away bits. And we have Amrita Naidu. After completing graduation in 2018, architect Amrita joined Baba Amte's Anandwan as a volunteer. Here she designed and built 3 public buildings using natural materials. These include round brick domes, flat domes, filler slabs, arches. She has worked hands-on all of her structures. Architect Amrita has initiated a non-profit organization called Urvi in 2020. Through this platform, she has been working on traditional and eco-friendly construction techniques in rural areas. Consider natural resources just for your basic need and not for your greed is what she believes. That's lovely. So let me just start immediately with Dhara. Tell us, what is it that you actually do? Let's say you got a project. What is that project about and how would you go about it? What is your vision for it? What would you tell the client about it? In short though.
So at Studio Alternatives, our focus with whatever we do is about utilizing materials that are already died or which is not useful to anybody. How we can retrieve them, reclaim them and use it back in the system. So that is the focus. In short, in one line, we believe everything can become something else.
For example, what kind of?
Any material. So we did start with earlier with interior materials, building materials, but over the period of time now, you tell me anything like even what do we do when we make a jhadu and we come up with a dust which is not segregable, which is not possible to segregate and put it back. What do you do with that? So we can fill it up as a bottle brick, which everybody knows, and we can use it to create some spaces, elements, wall, and so there is nothing that is not useful. We believe that there is a circularity possible, and anything that is waste is not waste; it's a resource. So you should eliminate the idea of waste. Basically, that is what we've been hearing, and that is what it should be like. So any material, whether it is natural or man-made, natural goes back in the system in nature, and man-made goes back in the system of manufacturing. But it has to be that way. So we work towards that. And when we get the clients, of course, clients don't come for this particular project that they want to create things out of waste. They come for various different aspects, majorly because we are in making build forms. They come for us to make a build form and other things. So we do create build forms. Our major build forms are made with discarded shipping containers that we have it as a mainstream project. And in that, whenever we have an opportunity, we tell them that these are the discarded materials, the materials which have passed out their first use, but we can create something and put back in your home with the same materials. So this is what in short that we do.
So let's hear Amrita. Would you like to share what do you do?
Yes. So as Dhara said, that we should use waste material or start with not calling it waste and look at it like a resource. So in our projects we try to use such materials which can be reused again and again and not create a permanent waste on this earth. For example, if we use concrete, once cement and water come in contact, it is a permanent thing on earth. But when you use soil and you mix it with water, it will stay for decades. But when you want to take down a house again, each and every element of it can be reused. So that is our agenda when we work with clients and with the villagers, that we try to use such material which is not going to create a burden on earth. So these natural materials include bamboo, timber, stone, mud, so cow dung. So these are the material palettes we try to use. And the people who come to us for eco-friendly house, they generally want to have the feel of it, like from their ancestors maybe, or through this viral videos now. They know that living in a traditional mud house is going to be good for your health and overall development. So that's why they come to us and they say that I want to have a mud house. But while doing that, we keep in mind that it shouldn't go under the parameter of luxury. Where you want to use bamboo, you bring it from Assam. Where you want to use soil, you get it from Konkan. When you want to use laterite, you bring it from Konkan. So that things we try to avoid. So we give them a reality check that when you're talking about natural materials, you have to focus on the local natural materials. And our agenda is that you try to identify such materials in 5-kilometer radius first, then increase the radius from 10, 15, 20. So the first priority is maximum material should be local material. It could be soil, stone. As Dhara said, we reuse material also from the old vadas. We can use sagwan, we can use timber, we can use stones, we can use soil which is known as pantri mati. So these materials we try to reuse. So that is how materials play an important role when we are talking about any.
Thank you, Amrita. So to summarize for our audience and for those who just came in, Dhara works with upcycling. So the waste that is already existing, containers, stuff, anything that you want to throw away and you find no use for, can be used to upcycle it into design, into something that you can use in your house to make a house out of it itself, furniture and so on. Am I right? And Amrita works with natural materials that is available in the first 5-kilometer radius to begin with. So you can create natural homes with natural elements like bamboos, mud, stone, and so on. So we go to the next question. I think we all would like to know, what do you mean by natural materials and are eco-friendly materials durable? For Amrita.
So from my point of view, when we speak that we are trying to use natural materials, what I feel is there should be minimum human intervention while using that material. For example, when we try to use limestone, so when you directly bring it and use it after slaking, that is a simple process. But similarly, when you want to use cement, you use the same limestone, it goes to the industries, it is used in the manufacturing process, there are many admixtures to it, and then there is the byproduct of cement, the main product of cement with byproducts of waste materials, and then you use cement, right? So the raw material that you are using is natural. So if you try to use materials available in nature with minimum changes to it, that is what I feel is natural. Yeah. So even if you are using bamboo, there are many people that they'll treat bamboo with very hazardous chemicals, CCA, CCB. So those chemicals are hazardous for the workers also who are doing that treatment process, and it is hazardous for nature also because the residue chemical is again poured down into the drainage line. So when you are saying natural, there are different parameters. So I generally give this example that the caveman was the most natural person on earth. That he did not use any material, he did not dig anything, he did not do any mining, he did not cut trees. All he needed was firewood. So it is unreal for us to say right now that let's be a caveman and not harm nature in any way. But at least we can make a conscious decision that whenever I'm using such material, what is the process happening behind it, which in architectural terminology we call embodied energy. So when you are trying to use a material, what is the energy cycle happening in the background? So the minimum harm you cause to nature is when I'll say that, okay, something natural we are using. So at the end, you are digging up soil, you are digging up for stone, you are using limestone, you are cutting bamboo, you are cutting trees. So ultimately, you are making some impact on earth, but it has to be at a very low level. And as I said in the first thing, that it should go back to earth. It shouldn't be a permanent waste on earth when you are harvesting that material. So bamboo also, when you harvest it, so when the structure goes down, it is going to decompose and go one with earth. Yeah.
Before I come back, Tara, I would like to continue asking Amrita that this is all sounding like I can do it only if I'm in a village or somewhere in a natural environment. We are all city people here. How can I do it here in an apartment?
Yeah.
And as we can see, there is no end of construction going on. One building after another, in fact, 20 at a time are being built, and the roads are completely disabled. We just can't even exist in an urban setting in a sane manner. We have to navigate so much to feel sane. So, what can we do here? Or do we have to all leave cities and go in villages? It's not possible.
No, I don't
wish-
wish actually. I don't wish that people go back to the villages, the ones living in the cities, because they'll destroy the
Exactly,
environment in the villages. So it's good that you are staying in the city. Let the villagers be happy where they are. And if the students are coming and migrating here for studies, let that cycle keep happening. So I really get frustrated when people say that I want to go back in the village and have a second home and start organic farming there. It is so unreal. You have lived in the city for 15, 20 years now. You're used to going to the malls and shopping, and you're used to the Balewadi High Street lifestyle. And then you say, I want a second home. That is a burden you're creating again. It's not that you're going to go there permanently and shift and just sell out your flat in Balewadi. That's not what you're going to do. You're going to keep both, and you're going to go there and employ some villager and who will do organic farming for you. So that is not the ideal thing which I'll support. So while you're living in the city, what we believe as architects who are into eco-friendly practices, it's not only about constructions, it is about your lifestyle totally. So it is not only that if I build an eco-friendly house, I am doing something towards sustainability. It's right from your clothing, the food you have, the gadgets you use, whether you use public transport, whether you use private transport. It's a complete cycle. So while living in the city, you can take measures with that, because city demands having high-rise structures and concrete structures. Here it is unreal to say that let's have a mud house on the 10th floor. That's not possible. So you can use refurbished furniture like Dhara does. You can buy her products. So that is what you can do.
You can buy all the products from this exhibition here.
Yeah, you
because
can
every
recycle,
one of them
upcycle.
is not only just created or designed with sustainable materials, it is the whole process cycle is also sustainable. That the workers or the artisans get paid directly, and it is not like the corporate culture. So it's not like the corporate will earn larger percentage and the poor artisan will not. So I invite every one of you to visit every stall and at least engage and learn about what they're doing. That will also be very motivating to them. And of course, please buy and use that material and keep a log of how that material or that product is doing for you compared to the one you buy from Amazon or whatever. See what it's doing for you. So thank you for that. I'm going to summarize again that what Amrita is pointing to is that architecture is your inner architecture also. Your everyday life is your architecture. Design it consciously, deliberately, be sensitive to what you need, how much you need, and limit all the wanting. You'll enjoy and begin process of doing more interesting things like coming to this conference, meeting good people. Alright, Tara, same question for you. So what kind of materials you use and how do you think we can use that in our daily life here? How can we change our homes and lifestyles here? Is there any way?
I think she just mentioned most of the things.
Your materials is like quite
Yes.
different from
What,
her materials.
what is difference is basically we should look at one simple fact is extend the life of things, materials and objects that is their part of your life. If I'm wearing this, is it enough for me and can I wear it for as long as possible? From there to using your furniture, let's
Or we
say
can borrow also, right?
you can borrow, you can repair, you can refurbish. That was my topic actually eventually. So
Yes.
there are a lot of these things. So idea is to extend. Say there is some energy which has already gone, as she was mentioning, when you are processing some sort of a material. There's already energy gone. It has served its purpose, and then if you can use it again before going for recycling. Recycling is the last resource which we got. But before that, if you can reuse it, we can repair it, refurbish it, upcycle it, whatever you can do before it. The energy that was spent in creating that particular object has elongated. Basically, you are not using more energy. So first is a refuse. You should refuse as much as you can. But as she said, then we will become a caveman, which is kind of impossible right now to suggest. So you refuse as much as possible. Second is a reduce. So what do you reduce? You reduce creating waste. You reduce your consumption. You reduce your energy use. Anything that is coming in being, you need to reduce as much as possible. So let's say when we go to the exhibition, first thing is yes, because it's eco-friendly, let me buy. But do you really need it? Yes.
That's a good question.
It's not
Do
a
I
point
need
to
it?
yeah, buy.
It's pretty, it's so beautiful. Oh, I'll be helping so many artisans and all, but do I need it? That's a difficult question to answer for most of us because we're actually very giving. We're always very compassionate. So, "ठीक है, ले लेते हैं." But then you find it difficult what to do with it. Perhaps you really don't need it.
Buy what you need it, and same way you should build as much as you need it.
Yes.
So what is the right need for a house? So that's where we started thinking.
So that's why your role will be interesting because I think clients can come and discuss all those deeper needs. Do we really need this? And it's a process, right? I have been an architect, so I have an idea that it's a process, and you need to first give that empathic, informative space where you can explore all possibilities.
So how do you, I'm not an architect, as a designer, somebody who wants a 1,000 square feet house, I would say no, 300 is enough for you. How do I do that? And have a business.
Right.
So the whole business and earning is about selling more. That's how we are here because our mobiles are not repairable, they are not updatable. I have a 10-year-old computer, I'm not able to update. So the whole consumerization thing has come because we need to sell more. To sell more, people have to get rid of it more. That whole cycle is there. So
And you create products which are not reusable, like this charger doesn't work for all phones. And I'm always perplexed. Why couldn't they just build one universal charger? So there is a stall called Lender Hand right over there. They will repair and fix anything you bring, your cooker, your anything. So that's Lender Hand over there. And there are a couple more I'm going to let you know now. But you must visit them. You can see that there is a lot right here.
they have a product, there are services which we have kind of forgotten. I think another thing we all as a urban dwellers can do is get back to those services. We used to sharpen our knives. We used to use pen. Yesterday only somebody mentioned fountain pen. Where is it gone? One pen lasted, like my father-in-law used only one pen in his life, and how many pencils? And we are using is ball pen that is now I can't change it. Fits. Like
Even
that,
the refills are not available. Correct.
They are 5 rupees use and throw. Use and throw has to be stopped in all levels. All levels.
There's a swap group also. There's a swap group in Pune. There are a couple of swap groups. Does anyone know about swap group? Yeah. So there is swap groups where you can swap things you don't want anymore, but they're still in good use, like your children's clothes. They outgrow it. And there are beautiful groups, and you meet lovely people on those groups. I've got, in fact, 80% of my house is full of swapped things, and I've swapped all my stuff and become minimalist. Anyway, I am aware of the time.
Can I make one last?
Yes, please.
I don't want to miss out that. Change your behavioral practices. Wash your milk packets. Know what you are throwing and throw properly. So these are the practices. These are 3 things. That has to be get rid of. Like I don't want to wash. I'm using disposables. I don't want to carry cloth bag. I'm using. So that has to be known. That has to be the first thing in this. Where is the water bottles everybody carrying?
Yes. I always refuse. Nowadays, people just give you one small bottle instead of carrying my
So
own.
that's where we can start. Like,
Yeah, otherwise it was so nice. Somebody would go fill up a glass of water for you and bring it in a tray and you feel like, oh, thank you. I don't want to use this bottle. Doesn't feel served. Anyway, the question is, how do you source your materials and how sustainable is that also?
Yeah. So it's an interesting question. Sourcing, yes, that is the most difficult part in the whole process. Because, for example, I want to build a wall with 700 bottles. How do you get that? So for us, it was learning through the years. So because we've been working for long. Initially, I used to go to Chuna Bazaar, all Bangarwalas. Now, afterward, now we have a huge network of all the people who are picking waste and selling waste. So we have located, like this guy sells bottles, this guy sells old sewing machines, from where we get old windows. And it is very interesting how they send information, because I think there's a little better cost when we use it, because we are using in a project which is pays us, so we also pay the price. We keep getting information on WhatsApp that this is what we have, and that's the network of people who are selling. As well as we have a lot of conscious designers, architects, and individuals who would get in touch that we have such number of scrap in such quantity. We have to just look. And for the second part, sustainability, of course, it is our skill that we have to look at it. If the plastic which was remained in a sun for a long time, I wouldn't design something out of it. So we have to check the So there are three things. Of course, what I am doing and what she's doing is a very hands-on, smaller boutique scale, as we call it. It's not mainstream. And at Studio Alternatives, we did question this for a long time, and I'm still questioning that what are the objects that can be mass product, at least mainstream. I want to make a lamp which is 200 in number and which is used and it is survived few years, right? So in specifically in upcycling, there is one way that make things out of this material that is discarded one time. It's unique art, and materials which are continuously coming. That and if you design a product out of it, then you can have a production. Okay, now there is a question why it's not happening. That is a complete economy reason. But there is another point I can make. If you are to start a factory of a water bottle or any product, such product, there are approaches which I don't think so I have followed, or I'm able to practice, but in a lot of international examples, that you question things itself. Like, for example, there was a shampoo bar. So if you are kind of avoiding the bottle packaging, so you question the product and you bring a change there so that you can avoid certain type of things. So packaging less, all greenery, all things is already here. Like, so that is a big shift, because 80% waste is a packaging.
I have one question for both of you, and also that what if, like how we got started, we didn't get started by the fancy idea that it is good for the planet. That was there at the back of our mind, but it actually gave us something very personal, kind of intimate joy. For example, I am a person who can get easily overwhelmed. So the best thing I do is just reduce everything. I found that works so well, and then I'm clear-minded, I can do all my work and think, wow, it's a personal win, it's a personal joy. It's making my life easy. And then obviously I like the creativity of like, why don't I do it this way? I used to be an architect, designer, I'm an artist still, a mother. So why don't I try it this way? And the kick that you get, the high that you get from like, oh, I thought out of the box, oh, I reasoned. And then my son looks at me and says, oh, that's interesting. So we double high. So what do you think? Is it not about changing our habits and kind of getting in touch with that part of us which loves things to be simple, easy, lovely, not complicated?
So it's both ways, right? It should start personal, but at the same time, it should not stop anybody who wants to start from the top and start a company which is completely sustainable. So I think it's a very personal choice, but so there are people who would think with that whole business should be sustainable. Now there are consultancy who will help you revive your business from the regular to sustainable, bring circularity or circular economy. But at the same time, most of us want to start
So
from
I
a
do
personal
work.
level.
Yes, I do work on how to create a sustainable mindset and a sustainable lifestyle, even where you are. No changing. Changing will happen automatically as you choose joy or something. Amrita, your thoughts on this?
Yes. So first, answering your question, that we experience this when we are talking about eco-friendly construction, like from the foundation to the roof, that it cannot be categorized under mass production, because mass production is something which has a common SOP, few common parameters, only then you can scale it up. But the root cause itself for doing eco-friendly construction is that it has to be context specific. So I gave an example of using Konkan Chira in Pune. So that comes under the case of mass production. That I will say that I want 10 row houses where you can use laterite stone and build houses. But that's not the case. So in the last 1 year, we have been conducting research in Pune district. So there is a variety of materials in Pune Jilla itself. So when you are going in a mountain region, where you are on the river side, when you are on a plateau region, the materials change, the designs change. Then you cannot have a simple module design that you can replicate it anywhere and this is the best product for you. Then it becomes like a Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana scheme. Sabko chhap maar ke same model, so you have to stay in that. So that is not what want to do is, but in mass production what we are trying to sell is that you study your local context first, and that is easily doable. It is not a difficult task. So for any project we get, the first task for the client is to go and study his local village. So suppose there is a project from one, so he has to go to his local village, the nearest village from his site, and go and see what were the traditional material techniques in the village which have lasted for 100 years. So that aspect of eco-friendly architecture has helped us to involve clients in this. And then coming to your point that why you want while doing that work. So generally what happens is the client architect role is very commercial. So the client will tell the architect that this is what I need, and the architect will give the design. Then the client's role is over. He'll just come for visits. But in our case, we try to involve the clients hands-on. So that is one of our parameters in the MOU. We sign it while taking the fee, that the client has to be involved hands-on in the process, and we'll be hosting multiple workshops on your site. Only then we are working with you. So in that process, the client has to come work with the foundation, whether it is brick making, whether it is mud pucking, whether it is bamboo cutting, anything. So he has to be involved. So that
So
gives
they get sensitized to
Yeah.
the whole idea, not just
Yes.
that it's about looking good and all.
Yes.
It's sensitive to what is
having
living,
an
how it's
environment friendly house is a very sensitive approach. So when it doesn't come from within, you are going to deflect it in some way or the other. For example, in the 50% process, you will say ki हाँ मड चाहिए, but then your relatives start coming, then your friends start coming, then you bring marble in picture, then you bring all those jaguar fittings. थोड़ा सा चालेल, but you have to have that thought from within. So for that, we believe that you should be involved in the process hands-on also. You have to be involved with the materials and techniques while your house is getting built.
So I know about organic farming, and I've been eating chemical-free or locally growing material for the last 5-7 years, and a lot of people I know. So what they say is their sensitivity changes when they're eating stuff that grows around them. I would want to ask if that's the same with eco-friendly architecture, that because it is growing nearby, it has that effect on your body, mind, sensitivity. It's local, like cotton, it's local to you. Understand? Does that happen?
Yeah, it happens. So the building design, the building shape, we call it 3D renders, that we have to show presentations to the client, how your building is going to stand out. So generally in our presentations, what happens is the building blends in with the environment so much that it doesn't stand out like a
The body
architectural
also gets better effect.
Yes,
And
yes.
you feel also healthier in it.
You
Live also
definitely-
more energetic lives in
Yes.
it. Just like you go and live in a mountain or nature place, you suddenly feel so light and happy, and you wonder, oh, this is better than your city. It's to do with your
Yes.
city. All right, I'm going to change the time, so I'm going to just ask Dhara if you have anything. Anyone else wants to ask something? So we're coming to a close now.
What about the durability of the structure?
I think she did answer that.
Yeah.
But once more, briefly,
Because
the durability of the eco-friendly structures.
Yes. So from our research, we have found out that the eco-friendly structures in Pune have lasted for more than 125 years now, and they are still in use. Few maintenance things had to be done, but there are no structural damages to it. So these materials are mud, timber, lime, stone, chowda. So this material palette is a common thing in Pune, and 125 years is the age we found. There are up to 200 years also. But now what has happened is we don't have that level of workmanship which we used to have at that time 50-60 years back. So there are a few guidelines which an architect or designer has to do, as in having a good foundation, having good roof overhangs, protecting your walls from heavy rains. So when you take care of these small things, your structure won't collapse until and unless you bring a JCB. So it is not a problem about the material, it is about how you design it, which material is in combination with what technique, and that gives you a good durable house. So mud is a very durable material, just you have to use it wisely.
Okay, thank you, Amrita. And Dara, do you want to say anything?
What she said is beautiful, and I think you, as any other structure, maintenance. We don't repair stuff. I go back to repair because that's my topic, but we should do maintenance. Like every time, whenever there's some architecture, the cost is calculated for a building cost. Nobody is putting effort into. We need to repair and maintain it yearly, or whatever it will interval. So same thing. Materials are very strong. We underestimate the materials that we use. So it's not that.
Saying keep a budget and attitude of maintenance. Make a schedule for
Sure.
that, and
Then-
that should save a lot of problems.
And it extends the life.
And extends the life. It gives you a lot more joy. Thank you so much, Dara and Amrita. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you everyone for joining us today. They're going to be here, so if you want to come up and discuss anything with them, I'm sure that's fine. And thank you, Vandita, once again for organizing this under a lot of challenges. Please don't forget to visit the stalls. Have a nice day. My name is Deepali Parwan.